floor.
All right, we're gonna call this meeting in order. December 16th, 2024, workshop meeting to discuss the buildings and ground position in the town of Pine Plains. And start off with reading the responsibilities that the job holds as of now, in the past, I should say. Which consists of mowing and weed whacking, beach, ball fields, clock tower, center of the town, 8 and 12 North Main Street, the library, the town hall, cemeteries. Fall cleanup as far as leaves and stuff in these areas. Minor tree trimming. Shoveling of the town hall and library should be included in this. I know in the past, the highway department has taken care of this. Meet with vendors, the elevator quarterly, sprinkler systems quarterly, fire extinguisher services, boiler services, heat and air conditioning issues and AC unit service. They're on call for alarms, minor maintenance, repairs on town facilities, such as the buildings the town owns. They service all the equipment 2 times a year. They keep maintenance records, minor painting, deck repairs, window trim repairs, and so on. Floor is open at this table.
So the mowing along, just to put it out there, what I would guess, and I don't know what you would think of that, it's 20 hours a week, right? Would you say cemeteries, ball field, how long did it take you to do the beach the other day?
Depends on how far gone they are, depends on the time of the season. You know, you got the spring season that it could get out of hand.
But would you say 20 hours a week is safe?
I've never had to trim a cemetery.
I do.
I have a question about, I have a question about the cemeteries. What cemeteries are they? Because it's not
It's not,
evergreen, right?
it's not evergreen.
Right.
It's all the ones, so it's the one up in Bethel Place, right?
2 in Bethel.
2 in Bethel. It's all the little
Actually, three.
historic
There's 2 on
ones.
Carpenter.
Yeah,
There's 2
2
on
on
Carpenter
Carpenter.
as well, and then the one down here.
The one up by Wayne McBeth. That one, isn't it? His old place up off of 83.
Right. Yep.
Go
there's
83, just
five.
past Carpenter.
What about
the one on 199?
Yeah, that's this one, up here, right? Is that
Yeah.
the one you're talking about?
It's up there by
Right near Chase Road?
Richard.
No.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
Up by the
Chase Road.
farm,
yeah,
Sugar Hill.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
across from Sugar
There's
Hill.
another one
So
there too.
that's
Yep,
town
that-
property that
that's
created?
sex.
Yeah,
Yes.
so whenever those
Any-
things default, they go
Correct.
back to the town. And then the
Correct.
town now has to.
I think you
make
have
it.
5, isn't it, Carl?
I think so. We'll have to
No,
really,
that's 6.
that's 6.
1,
that's
2.
6.
So then I would up that
Yeah,
and
there's
say
6.
it's all of 20 hours, because I only
That is
thought
all,
there was 3.
that is all push mowing.
So
Well-
of it,
I believe he's got, there's a 48-inch walk behind
Yeah,
that can.
but
get in
these
there.
tombs are super close, aren't they?
yeah, you don't wanna touch any of these accidentally not.
So if you're push mowing, that's a whole nother story.
Back when I did it, when I worked for the town, I used to be able to get the Bobcat, the walker into all. And then.
The 48-inch walk behind.
Yeah, the Bobcat walk behind, and then the little one up here by Heather Wilkinson's old house.
That's a regular.
That
push
was
mow.
That's
just
the one I was just
A
talking
weed
about.
whack
Oh,
job,
weed
that
whack.
one.
So there's that one, but there's also that one that's out past the across just before the Sugar Hill.
By Sugar Hill, there's one up on the hill,
Yeah,
3 down in Bethel,
That's
and
5,
then.
and then the 2 on Carpenter Hill.
so there's 7 total. There's 7 total.
So we don't know how many hours it takes. Is that the,
Well, yeah, so if we're making it, you know what I mean, like, we gotta make it a reasonable 40 out, like, 35, something where if something comes up, so like. But I'm saying, like, in the mowing right there, just the ball fields. Has to be, 45 minutes inside each of the fences, and then at least 3-4 hours. Lying on one of those but like, I would even say 5 or 6.
And then the weed whack around. the
And then
fence,
weed
what's
whacking
your-
around the fence should take at
You,
least
you
45
could
minutes.
spend a day or two easy down by the ball fields and the lake.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember, those times that you're mowing those cannot be when there's people there.
Yeah,
So like camp time, you'd have to do it.
It has to be
In the
done
evening.
on a day when there's no camp, or after hours of camp, when there's nothing planned or scheduled.
Well, I mean, I think that if we do schedule it and like, we know that like, cause the beach doesn't open, right? Doesn't the beach like open at like 11? Like, or is it open right at night?
Opens at 10, I think, and then they're closed on Wednesdays.
Okay,
So
so,
Wednesdays, Bobby would
But
roll
once
it.
camp's
Okay.
open,
But camp, they really shouldn't be on the entire ball field.
well, they normally stay down to the, yeah, but I mean, if we
Yeah.
schedule something with them, I think that should be fine.
but when camp starts, the growing season's already slowed up.
Yes,
That's the heavy season.
true.
So then you can mow, what I'm saying is like that particular day, you could do an hour or so, this section, an hour or so, that section. It can be scheduled out, so it works for everybody.
so is it a foregone conclusion that this person is gonna be assigned to the highway
No,
department?
No,
I wanted to just ask that question up front.
well, it doesn't make, in a few conversations, like with the elevator and for the on-call that the person has to do for the town buildings, like the library, it doesn't make sense for it to be at the highway department there, because it is more of a town.
I recommend helping
maintenance.
keep them under,
Us, yeah,
This-
like just because of these things. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
we're
how do you
talking about-
designate one
so-
person and his entire crew to have to be on call, like to do those things, you know?
So
Then
my-
the
my-
answer to-
So my question then would be, if we don't, the mowing and everything seems like a pretty arduous task for one person. And I know in other towns, the highway department and the maintenance, whether it's a department or a person or a number of people, kind of have each other's back. And so if the mowing gets out of hand and the person that is mowing and it's a maintenance line, and that person gets literally in the weeds and is behind, then maybe the highway department folks can support that and help with, equipment, manpower. If we can, try to be cooperative and flexible. And then, I think that why wouldn't that one person, even if it's assigned to the highway department, have these specific responsibilities for the town buildings and stuff like that? And that would be that person's responsibility, not anybody else in the highway department, just that person. But they would have the support of the highway department if it's needed. And then if, the flip side being that if things are slower for that position in the winter, say, and the highway department could use a little backup, then maybe that person can assist the highway department in that regard. I don't know how busy this person is any of the time of the year, because I don't have that experience. I'm just putting this out there as if we had all of the, laborers or whatever titles they are working together and cooperatively, we could help each other out.
Well, I mean, in an ideal thing, I like where you're going with that, but like, do you think the highway would be interested in maybe just taking over the mowing for us and helping us like with that? Like, cause I mean, I don't think anybody has a problem transferring our mowers to you, we have the mowers, but
But you mean not the manpower?
not the manpower. And then this becomes a feasible job, like if you guys did wanna add I don't know, like this seems like it takes a long time during the summer.
So my point is, why not give that person support if they need it? And again, I mean, I'm also thinking that, I don't know, what
But he
equipment,
doesn't have mowers, right? You don't have any mowers down
We
there,
have
do you?
one mower that's on its last leg.
Hmm.
And the mowing itself, the highway department would hire somebody, if I'm not mistaken, part-time to mow in the summertime.
well, if we're going back to that, you might as well leave the position where it is right now. Cause that's the
If
way
you-
it was in the past.
if you take the mowing out.
No,
saying.
if he's saying, if they're gonna hire someone
The reason why they
For someone.
hired somebody is because the 4 people they have on wasn't enough to do the mowing.
So you hired a temp,
That was my understanding, yeah.
and so then mowing would be taken out of this job.
But also that money goes to help with the money, so that's the problem, it's the money to create this, like,
Well, the money has to
Infantry.
follow the position.
yes.
But basically, you have a position that was created for the mowing and buildings and grounds. And Matt wants to take the mowing away from that position.
Well, I just feel that this, like, you know what I mean, like, we're not out in. We're not here on a daily basis, like, you know what I mean, like, just, then I feel that like this is like one of those things that you do have to monitor compared to. You know, having remote like managers, because we're not there, we're not like seeing what he is doing all day, but like. He has his, you know, finger on the pulse where he knows what his guys are doing every time, so. I just think it becomes easier if it goes to you, but I also understand that it's a pain.
Well, what I understand is if you give the mowing to the highway department and you don't give them extra personnel, how? are they
Yeah,
gonna do it?
no, so I got you.
And if we split the job up between the town and the highway department, then who directs this person when the town has changes or needs things accomplished?
Will be the supervisor, I would say that this person has to report to.
That person reports to Brian.
Yeah, I mean, supervisor.
They
like-
answer to him.
So there would just be one person and not
Yes, not a committee.
a committee telling this person what
No,
should
it's
be
just-
disaster.
Yeah, there shouldn't be micromanaged, one person,
So then if you move the position over to the
Then
highway
it's Carl.
department, then it's Carl.
yeah. But
And,
yeah,
you know,
one
Carl
person,
is, Carl is boots on the ground every day, you know,
that's,
so. That's why it makes sense to me. I don't know, if, you know, anyone agrees or disagrees, I just,
I mean, it makes sense for all the mowing, this stuff though, the elevators and that. Doesn't make sense. For me, like, I still think that that should be. Somewhere in the town, but the fall, all the cleanup outside, that should be highway, all this indoor stuff. I feel that that should be a different.
so are you proposing that we have 2 positions?
Possibly, and if we do that, then like that frees up time.
I've got a idea.
Is that-
If we hired a separate person for the mowing, seasonal for your side, could we add like the building stuff to the janitor that we have right now?
So that would be
Jump in there?
ideal, that would be ideal, but if she did want something to do it, yes, Bobby, that would be ideal.
I mean,
That would be the best case scenario. In a,
Because the janitor position is was taken out of this maintenance position, right?
Correct.
At some point.
they were doing that as
So,
well.
what's the hourly breakdown for the janitor position and the maintenance position?
The cleaner is about $10,000 a year.
But how many hours?
It varies, it
Is the
varies.
cleaner part-time or?
Yes.
Yes,
Part-time,
yes, yes,
20 hours a week?
it varies.
No.
It's all over the place. It's not 20 hours a week though. I'd say maybe 10 hours a week.
And the salary is 10,000?
Yes. Well, it's not salary, it's hourly pay.
And it came out to be 10,000.
About 10,000
And then the maintenance person is,
would be the remaining would be 43.
That was salary, right? Wasn't Bobby Lee's salary?
Yes.
Yeah.
but didn't we increase that in the budget?
We increased it to that number. Originally
Okay.
it was 28.
Okay, and the previous person that had this position worked how many hours a week? Maintenance guy,
He was listed on the books for 40.
40. And it's my understanding also that he used his own truck and his own trailer?
No.
He used the water
Water
department.
department.
The water department.
Oh,
But
okay.
sometimes he used his own because they didn't want to use the water.
Yeah, but there is a vehicle there to be used.
Two
and there's a
trailers down there
There's a
as well.
trailer,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, the purple truck's down there.
and that worked out fine. There was no problem with
We
them
just paid
sharing
the,
the,
we just paid the
The
fuel.
purple goes
Yeah,
that way.
but there was no
So-
problem like conflict of who needs it when.
Time
Not
wise,
gonna need it?
Ray
I thought
normally
Ray was
runs-
gonna need it.
Well, Ray comes around Saturdays and all the mowing's done during the week.
Correct. The truck was used at different times by both of them. There was never a conflict.
And so. I mean, I understand what you're saying about the elevator and blah, 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 blah. So. I'm just wondering, can that it doesn't seem that that you wanna do the sharing thing of the supervision, so maybe Bobby's suggestion is a good one. You hire seasonal. But what equipment are you gonna use?
Well, for the mowing, if it's town stuff, they could use ARC, you know what I mean, like that's. the
Well, how
mowers-
when no one applies for the seasonal position? We have such a hard time filling all positions with the highway department.
Yeah, that's true too.
It took forever to get Bruce hired, you know? What,
Mhm.
once, 6 months,
Yeah.
a year?
For this
It's
position that's still posted, we've received one applicant.
So now the other question is, you know, we're talking seasonal, but what about the walkway, the snow removal, the walkways and stuff
Right.
like that? Is
I
that
don't think it
still,
should be a seasonal job, because it's more than just summer. And I think it should be one person.
But are these responsibilities we go? Cause I would like to see the ice rink, this person do the ice rink. Cause
I'd like to
if
see him
that,
water the flowers in the barrels too, so we don't have to go through all that.
yeah, but that's his busy time of year. Do you know what I mean? Like if he's doing all the
while he's
mowing, like
watering the
it's.
flat, while he's watering those barrels, he should be mowing the lawn.
Yeah, so do you know what I mean? Like the ice rink falls on a different schedule of his, like where he
And you're
doesn't.
talking about do the ice rink as opposed to watering.
Yeah,
barrels, so
but I
do
just
both.
think once you become a gardener, like start weeding and watering those barrels, that's gonna add too much time into it,
So
like.
you're saying it shouldn't be added to this
I think
position?
that we had, I don't know what we do about that. I mean, I still think that we find kids to volunteer to help with the watering and the weeding. It's,
I think if you include some of the work that's in the scope of things that need to be done, you're not going to find somebody who wants to do all of that stuff.
Right.
yeah, because
You
it
may find a guy
becomes
who
too
says,
much.
look, I wanna mow, I'm good at that, but I am not interested in watering barrels or weeding or.
Those are intense gardens. They put in like
Yeah.
some really intense things, like weeding those is just not easy. And like, if you hire the wrong person who doesn't know, they're gonna rip out a few things that they spent a lot of money on.
We spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
So I,
who does it?
It
the
should be
beauty,
the business, right? If they want flowers in their barrels,
I
they should
agree with
water 'em.
that.
Just like business have to shovel their own sidewalks.
They can
The
water.
question is, do you want a pretty town?
Well, yeah,
Look, yes, I
that's
agree with
why
you on
it's,
that.
You're not gonna get the business.
The businesses aren't gonna do it. There isn't even a business
Not gonna.
association
And
anymore.
besides, you'd have to, if you're gonna force them to do, you'd have to make some new laws, which I don't think are really appropriate, you know, and it's us that decided to put the barrels out.
Did that guy not like doing it over the summer?
Oh, no,
He was fine.
He was fine. He was fine.
I thought I did a grand
I
job.
thought you did a great job. I
He
always
did a
saw him.
fine job, but it was not, it wasn't an easy. It wasn't an easy thing to accomplish if we wanna hire somebody seasonally, but it would also be great if somebody could spend a little bit more time. Paying attention to the town park, the library community center.
Well, how
you know,
much did we pay him last year? Can we add just,
Minimum wage.
can we add a little and have him take care of the park as well and give him X amount of hours per week? Like, so it gets capped? You know what I mean? Like, still like, not itself, but it gets things done. It gives him, he wanted to meet people, right? That's why he's doing it, to like to help with the watering and.
I don't know if he had the skills to do the rest of it.
No.
I mean, maybe somebody else would, but and then we got the quotes from Sue. And it was not passed, it was voted down. We'll have her do the spring and fall. So that's an option, but that means, we've got to spend the money. Otherwise, the town stands to look like not so good.
Not. I got.
And I think that that's really a shame.
It is, we should have Sue do the town.
Or,
the
you know,
spring
somebody,
fall.
either we have to hire
But
somebody
this
that's
person
hired by the
should be
town.
able to do the spring and fall.
Pardon me?
This person should be able to do the spring and fall.
The maintenance person
Yeah.
for the town.
But only, yeah, spring and fall
Spring and fall
cleanups, yeah, absolutely, but the weekly maintenance, they're not gonna have time for it. They'll have time to do the spring and fall, cause that's in there.
So who will do the weekly maintenance?
What, the
they'll-
weeding?
And the watering.
I think that comes down to volunteers and beautification committee, and like, you know what I mean, like, I honestly think it does.
I disagree with you. The beautification committee and the, you know, the flower, whatever they are,
Garden club,
the
They're
garden
moving
club.
away and dying away.
Yeah, they're all ladies except for Thayer that are over 60 and can't carry gallons of water and shouldn't be expected to. It's not,
yeah,
the
but
committee is
we
not.
already have somebody watering the plants.
He's talking about the park in the center of town.
Yeah.
Just the park in the center of town, that's.
And that should be volunteers from the beautification committee every week going out there and weeding.
It's not an every week thing, like you can, if you weed it right, it's like once every 2-3 weeks. I don't know what's in there. I know that there's a lot of stuff in there.
No, I know Thayer is out there every morning picking up garbage because we don't have a garbage can there. And weeding and planting the annuals just to make it look nicer. And that's a volunteer thing, right? I think do I think that he should be held responsible to do that?
Mm-mm.
I don't.
When you originally planned that out, Matt, that was before
You
I
guys,
was there.
I-
When it was originally planned out, wasn't that agreed upon that that was gonna be almost a self-sufficient area? At what point did it get out of control?
from the beginning,
Almost
it's just right from the beginning, it was
Right,
supposed to
right.
be right from the beginning, then it was supposed to be really no annual maintenance or income going into it, but then the fountain came in, so now we had to open and close the fountain, then we had to buy. There's a lot that went into this little park that where originally was not supposed to go in.
So now it's there.
Yes,
It
now
looks
it's there.
nice.
And it costs a lot of money.
It does cost a lot of money. A little park costs a lot of money.
You mean ongoing, it costs a lot of money?
Yes,
What does it cost?
Well, just the maintenance, right? Spring cleanup, spring and fall cleanup with Sue, that's like $3,000.
Right,
then the annual, if you put Bobby Lee's in there with the mowing and go in there, what does it cost to shut down the fountain?
That's that's not that bad.
But yeah,
who shuts down the fountain?
I think Dave or
Dave
Mike
and
George,
Artis.
yeah, Dave, yeah,
And is he a volunteer?
he probably does.
No,
He doesn't.
no.
Right, so. The weeding is not a volunteer thing that
Volunteer
that
thing.
we can expect,
Besides
you
it-
know, a group of 65-year-old and up ladies to do.
If you want an attractive, maintained town, it costs money. Nothing in life is really free. There are a lot of volunteers, but you can't have high expectations.
They might volunteer, but they're still costing them their time and energy and
It
knowledge.
is.
And someone needs to, you know, be leading the volunteers and telling them what to do. They're not just gonna miraculously know how to do it.
This town needs to look attractive and we need to pay for it. And in my opinion, that's the end of it right there.
Then what do we do? Cause then that bumps that job up to over a 40-hour week job.
Maybe seasonally, but do you think it's a 40-hour week job year round?
No, he doesn't, nothing during the winter. But like the
Well, I don't think
weeding,
that's true that he doesn't.
well,
do
the
that.
shoveling, the meeting with these things, but
Yeah.
the work in the winter becomes much
not
less, it's
30
not,
hours probably.
yeah.
So let me ask you this, the things for the buildings and grounds, how much of that would need to be done in the summertime? And how much of that could be transitioned and scheduled in the winter months when
Well,
there's not a whole lot going on for that?
The
anymore?
services, and any AC issues or alarm or anything, that's quarterly, so you get twice during the summer.
Right.
Boiler service should be during the summer.
Boiler service will be during the summer, alarms or whenever that happens, that's a hit and miss. When that happens, you don't know when it's gonna happen. If the air conditioner goes down. That's a
jump on it type thing.
Yeah.
By boiler service, they're not gonna perform the service, are they?
No, but they have to go and they have
Somebody's
to
gotta
leave.
babysit.
No,
Yeah, you gotta
but-
let the person in and, you know,
Yep.
Which
watch
has
them.
been me.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, we can't just.
Yeah, that's what I.
You know, when you have a boiler guy, a guy come do your boiler, you sit there and watch him and ask him questions and take notes and keep the paperwork.
There has been minor issues that our past maintenance guy has taken care of. As far as
Simple.
boiler issues, air conditioning issues, you know,
Saves us money if he can do it.
he painted that whole upstairs in the community room, that alone, if you would have had to pay prevailing rate for that, that paid his salary in 1 year.
Well, and don't you think that's a realistic expectation for the person to do stuff like that?
That's why it's in the job
Yeah.
description, I mean, yeah.
Many moons ago, when I was a rec assistant, Mr. Harp used to make us weed whack all the ball fields and all the fences around the beach. That was part of my job as a rec assistant.
Can't do that anymore.
Or-
That and pick up goose poop.
Yeah.
New York
Remember
State
that? That
don't
was-
allow that anymore.
That was the main task of the register.
We mustn't ruin their delicate hands, can we? But my youngest had to drive a zero turn before she could touch the floor.
Perfect. It's just like one of those walkers that babies use.
So here's the ultimate question, what are we doing with the petition, are we dividing it in two, or are we leaving it in one?
I think we need your input for that.
I have no problem with it being one unit. As long as I get some heads up before the person's pulled off for one thing or another. If there's some sort of schedule that everybody's appraised of as far as when he's got to do the AC or the boiler. Those things that can be
Scheduled.
scheduled. The other things, it is what it is. You know, get a call, he gets a call, I get a call, whoever. And he's gotta go turn off a fire alarm or check a leaky boiler or something. But the question is, how's that come to fruition, that call? You know, does that individual say, you know, he's in the middle of mowing, hey, I gotta stop mowing lawns. And I'm not gonna be able to get back to it because I gotta go check on this boiler. Or does that come
That
directly
call
from-
usually comes here, and then the person is dispersed from here as it is now.
But I mean, has it occurred when, you know, the person is mowing the lawn and yet an alarm goes off and they gotta stop and go do it? Rarely?
But
It could happen.
Correct.
It could happen.
Right, and it has happened in the past, and has there been, historically, has mowing not been accomplished?
Yeah, have you
Yeah.
not seen those ball
Oh, yeah.
fields? Like sometimes walking down there during like T-balls, like
Yeah.
softball, like it's
When
hot.
when my
like-
girls were
I haven't
playing,
seen it, cause I
When
haven't,
my
I've been
girl-
out of
Yeah,
school for
so
a couple
the,
years.
so the, like the major field of, like, has not really been getting, like, it's been a lot of work, like, he's always worked, like, he's mowing, like, so you can't take it away from him.
He can't
But
get
like,
on it.
it's just a lot, because when you add the other things, like, it becomes too much. Like, that's why I don't think we can add
You can't
too
spread
much
it
to
too
it,
thin.
because it's already too much for one person.
Does it simplify it if we hire somebody to just mow during the mowing season and leave that be their job and then find someone else to do the rest of it?
The temp,
Well, that would
Right, so
be,
that would be the
that would be,
seasonal.
that would be
That would be
seasonal and
seasonal.
dividing it, but he would rather just keep it together, right?
If it works
I
better,
think-
divide it, and we'll go back to the way it was
or
before.
you could not divide it and have it assigned to
Well,
highway.
that's,
And if you still need a seasonal person to mow, you gotta hire a temp in the summer.
The other thing you consider is if you're hiring somebody who's gonna have access to all the town buildings. They're gonna have access to all your keys, they're gonna have access to every nook and cranny to do what he's gotta do, or she. It's gonna be somebody that you have to be able to trust and rely on.
Mhm.
Therefore, having to babysit them
Shouldn't be.
is a conflict, saying that you don't trust them. Maybe you trust them or you don't trust them.
What are you, why are you talking about
Somebody has
babysitting
to be
them?
oversight though, no
Yeah.
matter what the circumstances are.
Right,
Somebody
but
has-
he's, person would still be coming to this office. Or my office, one or the other.
Well, they still would be.
It'd still be an
regardless.
oversight. They'd have to, they should either way be writing out what they do in a day. So at any given time, you're like, what the heck did he do today? Oh, here's his paperwork.
So I agree with you on that. I would
Do a
like to
daily
see a log.
utilization.
I would
My
like,
guys do.
yeah.
They
you
do
know-
a daily utilization, yeah, they should.
Well, yeah, I could not agree more with you on that one.
And that way, at the end of the day, if, for us, if there was a piece of equipment that was left somewhere, or something got broken, and everybody knows what happened. We can always look, well, so-and-so was on this piece of equipment all day. And there is a piece of paper that shows that they did the pre-trip on it and the post-trip on it. Accountability. And then you don't have to worry about babysitting. As long as they know that in the end, if they get overwhelmed, they can reach out and say, man,
I
I
mean,
got down there and the grass grew 4 inches in a weekend, which.
if we could
That's happened.
somehow ask Brenda to see if she could just take over these.
It doesn't.
She doesn't want to meet them or do it,
No.
okay.
Because
Because if you,
when
from the
he
meat
re-
to the vendors.
when
to
he
the call for
retired,
the
I asked-
alarms,
when he
Like
retired.
that
I
would
asked-
be ideal, because then it would all be outside with him
Mm-hmm.
and then the inside here.
When he
So-
retired, I asked her if
Okay.
she was interested, because that was my first thought. That would have been a perfect fit.
Yeah, because
So-
that makes that in all inside and then all the outside.
So when I worked for the state, we had, there was a lot of mowing and stuff like that outdoors. In the summer, and so we hired young people. You
Mm.
know, high school kids, if you were 16 sometimes, and it was just seasonal work and they mowed or they, whatever. Can we do something like that? And you know what? It was a good job. It put them in the system for benefits and everything else at a
Believe you
young
have to
age.
be 18 to run power equipment now.
Okay, so 18. I mean, I think it's would be a great job if you're willing to give it to a young person,
Right, and that was our goal with the watering of the flowers,
a young
and we just
person.
did not get that.
Yeah,
Right.
so like young people don't want to work and he
Young
can't
people.
rely on a high schooler, like, because he needs,
Then I would be
Because
with
mowing,
him
yeah,
all
mowing
day.
is
Yeah.
what, May to October.
yeah, so they would be in
So-
school for a lot of the busy mowing season.
Not an easy question.
Keep it under one position.
One
Like I said,
position, go to Carl, I'm okay with that, if
One
Carl's okay
position,
with
Go
it.
to Carl.
If we can get someone to actually apply for the job, right?
I
For
think
some
that
reason,
Carl and
both
Brian
of them.
should both be in the interview process if Janine wanted to do it,
Absolutely.
like, in that way, because they're getting the keys and all that.
Well, Carl, if you're willing to take this person on, my opinion is that it should go to the highway.
How do you guys feel about that?
Now, their hours were 9 to 5.
Yeah,
They'll kind of need to be that for the summer for the mowing part.
And it's
So-
salary, right?
Yeah, and it's salary.
Do their hours have to be 9 to 5?
Well, you want the dew off the ground, you won't want to mow when there's dew on the ground and stuff like that.
that's why I don't
And you
start,
don't
I
wanna
don't
mow
start
too
my
early.
mowing until 5, 9
Yeah,
either,
you
either.
don't want to mow too early.
I just do it because I don't want to be loud, yeah.
But when you advertise or interview for the position, can you say that there has to be some flexibility? Because if you've got to respond to these alarm calls and everything like that, you've got to have flexibility.
That's why it's salary.
That's why it's salary.
Yeah.
That's part of their responsibility,
Okay.
but I mean, they're set hours,
But we shoot for 9 to 5.
9 to
Yeah,
5.
So now. If he gets called in at, say, 8 and he deals with that and then he comes in at 9,
It's part of his job.
so it's not.
It's
not
salary,
over-
part of his job,
Yeah,
part of his job.
Just making sure I understand the
Yep,
concept.
that's
There's
part
no
of his job.
overtime, right, there's
Yeah.
no.
No overtime, no nothing.
Now, here's a thought, if it goes under you, should you oversee the outdoor stuff and Brian oversee like the indoor?
Oh, I would prefer that.
mean, would you do that?
Well, I would
I
communicate
don't-
with Carl
yeah.
anyway, so.
Right.
Well, cause you guys would have to
Yeah, but
schedule.
I don't know
Every
exactly
day,
the whole.
9 o'clock,
Yeah.
9 o'clock to be exact,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like clockwork.
Already, yeah.
I think we reached it, right? Are you guys 43, right? Is that what?
That's
So,
what's in the
but-
budget for
So
it.
can we have, who's watering the plants and who's picking up the garbage? This person?
I've been picking up the garbage for 19 years every winter.
I know in the winter, but what about in the summer and spring?
You walk it in, you walk it out.
Thank you.
You have hands.
But it doesn't happen, Carl. There's
Carry in,
garbage.
carry out.
We have
There's
how
a
many
lot of
places
times
in
where
the
there's a
police
garbage
force?
can and you'll see garbage right on the
Yep.
ground next to it.
Yep.
So, I mean, even getting the garbage can does not mean people are gonna.
The only
place
reason
it
why
in the
you see it in the
garbage
garbage can now is because I picked up and put it in the garbage can if Thayer didn't do it.
There is no garbage can.
There are 5 garbage cans out there right now.
I know, they're the Christmas garbage cans. And then they go away.
So
And there
why,
are no garbage cans.
why
in the-
Christmas and not the rest of the year?
This is the town.
Because that's my
decorating
town
days.
decorating barrels.
It's Carl's project. It's not a town supervisor project. It's not a town project. It's Carl and Eva's. The Carl and Eva's show.
What kind of barrels do you have out there?
55 gallon.
What?
His whistle.
Why can't the same kind of barrels go back there after the Christmas barrels go bye-bye?
Don't know.
Why can't we have a nice looking garbage can and recycle container?
Where are
Like,
you-
like every other town.
Municipality, yeah.
One. I'm asking for one.
All right, we'll bring, I've looked
I will
a
bring
few
it
up
up.
for you.
Bring it up to the
I've looked
board.
up a few.
I've looked up many. I have
How long
favorites.
does this position stay open? Right? And what happens when it doesn't get filled? Like, how long do we wait?
Cause Carl did the beach, I do
Yeah,
the
but how
ball
long do we
fields.
wait?
I tried to get the library twice and every time
People
it
are
went
there all the time, right? Yeah.
packed.
Where is it advertised?
Currently, nowhere
Right, where will it be advertised?
on the website.
We need more advertising.
Website's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
We need more advertising.
Where do you want it? Madeline does papers.
Okay,
I can email them and put in like the help wanted section. Right, it's not like a legal posting. it should be-
right.
No, it's not a legal post.
Do we belong to any personnel platforms like Indeed or anything like that?
No.
We should, but we don't. No, I mean, to find the highway workers, we're always looking for highway workers, it seems like.
I did not have good luck with Indeed.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Do you have an
It can
account?
be posted through the county.
I think I did
think
at
that
one
would
point
be
in
good.
time and I
It
got
can be
rid of it.
posted through the county, actually, with the shared service that we have with them.
I think that would be good. We have to
I'll do
have
that.
more outreach, because it's, So what, do you have an Indeed account?
I used to.
Yeah.
It was worthless and pointless.
Yeah, I know, you get a bazillion responses.
A
It's
bazillion
the opposite
responses
problem.
and nobody,
It's quality.
very few I could get on the phone.
Yeah.
And the few I got on the phone said, oh, yes, we can meet in person. And not one of them showed, called, anything.
Yeah.
I think they would just do what they had to do for the requisite, I'm looking for a job.
Well, I don't know. I think so. We need to find out that the county is probably at least a
The
solution.
county, the newspaper.
Yeah, but when do we wanna?
When's the
plan on-
deadline? That's
Yeah.
what she's asking.
Yeah, when?
So we have an expiration date on that.
Put it out now and we'll put it out until January 15th or January 20th.
That's,
Actually, you got winter, you should probably go into February.
No.
You gotta give it a good solid month. You're almost at the end of
This is
December now.
last year's calendar.
Should we put it out to our board meeting, which is the 20th of February?
Well, we don't open them up before that, so if you, what's a
Deadline-
week before that?
Deadline February 4th.
To apply?
Yes,
Yeah, it's 2
we're
months,
accepting applications until February 4th.
Okay.
and then we'll open them,
And then if you don't get any,
we can read.
Then you have to
Yeah.
read.
Extend it,
yeah.
yep.
what are we gonna have workshop meeting that week or that month and open them that Monday?
Sounds good to me,
How's,
Bobby.
have a workshop meeting that,
So it's the 20th, it would be the 16th,
Well, this is,
so if
Or
you
the-
have until then,
be the 17th.
and then workshop meeting that night, we could open them.
Well, there's no opening on
no, we have. to-
applications. Once you get
You
the
accept them.
applications, we're accepting them up to that date.
Yep.
And then we'll start scheduling
Then-
interviews.
Okay,
So you say it's February 4th.
February 4th is the deadline.
So the following week would be out doing interviews.
Yes.
And then, board meeting, for free, hopefully.
Is there a dumpster down by the town beach in the parking lot all year long?
No. Nope.
That's just in the,
Seasonal.
just in the summer
Yeah.
and spring.
Cause they'll
summer.
fill that right up
That will be filled up
quicker than.
very quickly.
You
People
mean
just
by
like to-
other, by
Yes.
people backing up their
Yes.
truck and
Yep.
putting their
Yes.
garbage in it? I know,
Yes.
I see that all the time. What am I supposed to do?
Yes.
Supposed to say something to that person.
Well, I don't know who they are, you know.
Yeah. We got a fun story about that after, when the camera goes off.
All right, that's settled. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
so move.
Can I get a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye. my client had a bunch of,
How'd you make out with your license?